Good morning, and thanks so much for tuning into the trade setup. I'm Neeraj Shah. The US markets did okay. I mean, ignore the Nasdaq and the kind of tepidness that the Nasdaq had, but the US markets did okay. So, which is a positive thing for our markets. Now, what's the global news flow? Well, Jerome Powell says two or more hikes likely needed to cool inflation. The US jobless claims dropped by most since 2021 in a holiday week. So the data is, from the US is robust, and that robust US data dragged gold to under $1,900 per troy ounce for the first time since March. A bit of a safe haven cool off and buying happening in risk assets, if you will. We've seen Bitcoin also do well, remember? So good going there. And incidentally, talking about traditional investments, where Warren Buffett has moved up his investment in Occidental to more than 25%. Um, so watch out for that. SGX hints at a positive start, but start which is much higher, 19195 or thereabouts. So we'll have a start which is in the green. The question is, can we build on from there? Well, let's wait and watch. The trade setup, well, as I've been now saying, that trade the market and not the forecast, but the forecast as well is positive. Indices are in fine fettle. The global market mood may only aid this up move in the session today, maybe led by banks. Watch out. I mean, stocks like HDFC Bank, Reliance haven't had a move at all. And therefore, I mean, at some point of time, you probably start them seem to make a move, even if some of the others were to cool off, because there are some stocks which are trading at high valuations, but there are others which aren't, and they have a tailwind behind them. Each of these have a tailwind behind them, and therefore keep that at the back of your mind. The bank Nifty maximum OI is at about 40 is at about 44,500 on that strike, and therefore that acts as a bit of a resistance. But once taken off, I mean, it's a bit of short covering led up move that happens naturally on the index level as well, which also helps the stocks. And frankly, I was looking at the series gone by, some analysis over the, not the weekend but in the Eid holiday. By the way, belated Eid Mubarak to everybody who's here. And real estate as a pocket was the one that really stood out. Large amount of short covering. In fact, the highest short covering that happened in the June series was in the real estate sector, and that was also the sector which gave the highest returns. So the short covering led move has happened. Can there be fundamental buying, considering the fact that the numbers and the real estate sales continue to be strong? Maybe the pace may slow down a little bit because of the base effect, but the numbers continue to be strong, and which is actually a big positive to my mind. By the way, speaking of series and rollovers, look at SBI Card, Alchem Labs, Eicher Motors, Syngene. They're top rollover stocks. The rollover was about 3 to 5% higher than the previous month for each of these. And all of these gained with more than 10% OI in the June series. So not only was there price gain, but there was strong open interest build up into these stocks in the June series, and therefore have to be watched out for. Even Indus Tower, actually, it's a massive OI build up that has happened. So some stocks have had a remarkable move, and the rollovers into July series have been very, very strong. Now, stocks to watch in the session today is the big thing, and there are a clutch of names, by the way. First one is MCX. Now, and actually even 63 moons, but the news was on MCX predominantly. They've extended the service contract with 63 moons for an additional 250 crore rupees. Now, to put this into perspective, this is the development, right? That MCX has a contract with TCS 18 months ago to develop this whole software and migrate to TCS. They are not able to do it. They don't have the confidence despite doing mock trials as well. So, and this is the third extension. And if frankly, if you want a bit of sarcasm or you know dark humor, if you will, read the press release or read the exchange release of 63 moons. I'm telling you, it is uncanny or unheard of for a company which has gotten a contract to give such a snarky, dipped in sarcasm press release for the company which has given it the contract. It's the first time that I've seen something like this. But anyways, coming back to news. So the contract has been extended for 250 crore rupees, 125 crore rupees per quarter for 2 quarters. Now keep this in mind that FY23 PAT of MCX was 149 crores. The last time that MCX had a PAT which is over 250 crores was back in 2013 or FY14. And that's the amount that MCX is having to pay to 63 moons. Arm twisting, what do you call it? That's the kind of amount that MCX has to pay to 60 moons for this. 63 moons on his part is saying that we've offered MCX enough options that you buy out the software or you do a full-time 2-year contract or what have you, but they are not doing it. So now, whichever way the cookie crumbles, the point being MCX is having to pay a hefty fine for its contract extension with 63 moons. Investec downgraded the stock to a hold with a target price of 1715, and they are being a bit kind, by the way. Some other brokerages have made out this point that the EPS from some high double digit actually goes down to 4 rupees for FY23. They have Investec too has significantly downgraded the FY24 EPS to factor in the additional costs. They say that the increase in the cost of equity to 13.5% from 12.5% due to the continued uncertainty. And over the past 12 months, MCX is up 25% despite this continued uncertainty. So therefore, enough reasons for MCX to come off. I would reckon that MCX will have a slam dunk start in the session today. So watch out for MCX. Will definitely correct. TD Power, that's, it's a very large chunk of equity that is coming in on the OFS. Now, if they are confident that it will get absorbed, 24% is not small at a 4% discount, then this is the last of the uh, supplies in TD Power. And from here, much like it happened with Delivery or HDFC AMC, the stock could actually see a bit of an up move if this gets absorbed very, very easily. I hear that it has gotten absorbed and there is demand for this large equity. Let's wait and watch. But if it does, then don't try and trade TD Power on the downside. One, it's a very liquid stock. And two, if this supply is already absorbed or there is demand for this paper, then you might actually see the stock do well, because on the valuation front, it's not an expensive stock. So keep that in mind. Credit Access Grameen promoter, Credit Access India PV will sell up to 5.8% stake worth about 1100 crore rupees at a base price of 1230 per share versus the current market price of about 1325. So that's about a 7.5% discount. This is as per reports that I have access to, and 7.5% discount. So reports that we've seen, that's what I noticed, about 7.5% discount. So keep this in mind. Then BPCL, it's a large fundraise, 18,000 crore rupees via rights issue. So BPCL definitely comes in focus. Now, a few stocks for which I've not quite mentioned in the graphics, but keep these in mind. AMCs, once the issue of these TERs has been pushed back, so AMC stocks could actually have a positive start today. Aurobindo, I think I read a Bloomberg one-liner which said that US FDA has found issues in Aurobindo's unit, so do watch out for Aurobindo if it starts lower. And really here, I think Mintis is saying it's going to sell stake in one of the units, so do watch out for that as well. Then Tata Communication has made an acquisition, US-based Caleria. It's an NYSE listed firm for $100 million. Now, companies made previous attempts to scale up its CPaaS, communications piece, using Digo, but it's seen limited success. Now, MK believes that this deal now gives Tata Communication both scale and capability at a global level, and therefore this could be positive for Tata Communication. They have a whole target, but net and Tata Communication has, gained a little bit. So keep this in mind. But it gives them scale as well as capabilities, and therefore that could be constructive for Tata Communication. Watch out, this business, this stock has a base to itself. The question is only scale up, because they've spoken about this for a while, never quite done it, or hasn't quite done it as effectively. Can they do it now? Is the question. And if they can, then the possibilities could be very strong. So do watch out for Tata Com. May have a positive reaction. Commodity stocks might sulk. Balrampur, Triveni, Renuka, because global sugar prices are trading near 6-month lows, and coffee prices are trading near 1-year lows. So Tata Coffee might be in focus as well. So bear that in mind. So these are a few stocks to watch out for. Now, a few things with the Nifty at all-time highs. We keep on giving you the best voices that we can bring on a given day. So Dinshaw Irani of Helios, would very interesting to see what the Helios strategies as they ride out these gains on their portfolios. But it'll be interesting to speak to Dinshaw Irani. So that's coming up at 10 a.m. today. Monday, a very special voice. Xavier Baraton, or Javier Baraton, as the case as his pronunciation might be. He's global head of investments at HSBC, and he'll be joining us on our series Worldview. And a lot of you have been talking about it on social media about when do we start the new season of Alpha Moguls. Well, it kickstarts next week, either Tuesday or Wednesday is when we kickstart Alpha Moguls. The first episode with Samit Vartak. So series of conversations coming up. Monday at 10 a.m. we have Devina Mehra. So a series of conversations to try and assess what to do with the markets at all-time highs. And at 10:30 a.m. today, a company which has done remarkably well in its quarter gone by, which is Astral Poly, talks about how FY24 could be. So you might want to tune in for that conversation as well. Thanks so much for tuning into Trade Setup. Have a great day ahead.